Hello and welcome to Crypto News, today March 28th, 2026, and here are the top crypto news stories. We'll start today's episode with a question from the European Central Bank about DAOs and DeFi. Specifically, the European Central Bank has published a document in which it finds that governance in 4 major DeFi protocols is, to a very large extent, not decentralized at all. And it's quite right, and as we had seen on Crypto News 3 weeks ago when we were talking about AEV, we found that in a very important vote for the protocol, only 3 to 4 wallets did whatever they wanted in that vote, and this is true for many DeFi protocols as well. This particular document examines AAV, MakerDAO, Uniswap, and Ampleforth, and finds that while governance tokens are held in tens of thousands of addresses, the top 100 addresses hold more than 80% of the supply in each protocol on average, based on data they had from November 1922 to May 1923, so I think things are much worse right now. The authors stated that the findings challenge the idea that DAOs are inherently decentralized, raising questions about accountability and complicating efforts to identify potential regulations to put all this under the microscope, because as you know, everything needs to be legislated at any moment, but as we see, they're having difficulty calling them decentralized, and rightly so. Continuing with our ETFs, let me tell you that on March 26th, there were large outflows of $171 million, resulting in articles being written that these were the largest outflows we had seen in ETFs in the last 3 weeks. And since these articles were written, on March 27th, we had outflows of $125 million. And the main reason for this is the big drop that Bitcoin has had, and we'll talk in a bit about why this happened. The latest ETF news comes from Morgan Stanley, which is also entering ETFs and wants to have its own spot Bitcoin ETF, which if approved will launch with 14 basis points, making it the lowest fee in the market. Looking now at the crypto market itself, we'll see that Bitcoin stands at $66,000 with the price having entered our channel as expected. And the reason we re-entered our channel is also the broader market, which isn't doing well at all. Specifically, US stocks declined as the CME FedWatch showed no interest rate cuts until December 2027, and a 51% probability of rate increases by March 2027, pushing the 10-year bond yield to 4.48%. And as we can see, the S&P 500 is red, the NASDAQ is red, and the broader US market is red. As a result, in recent months with the decline all these indices have had, we've seen outflows of $17 billion, as we can see from this table, with Bitcoin, silver, gold, and the Magnificent Seven having many large outflows during this period, resulting in the $17 billion figure. More specifically, let me tell you that the Richmond Fed president warned that higher natural gas costs could negatively affect consumer spending while characterizing hiring conditions as fragile. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Fed president stated that the war in Iran has created new risks for both inflation and growth. And as we've said on Crypto News, the main reason inflation is high in America is energy, oil, natural gas, and the rest. And with the war that has occurred, this pressure simply increases. And since I mentioned the war, let me tell you that Bitcoin's macroeconomic risks are increasing as Ukraine complicates Trump's plan to stabilize the oil market. And the article refers to something we covered on Crypto News 3 days ago, that at least 40% of Russia's oil export capacity has been shut down after extensive Ukrainian drone attacks on its facilities. And continuing on the same topic, let me tell you that Russia has imposed a ban on natural gas exports to its oil producers for 4 months starting April 1st. This puts even more pressure on things, and the cherry on top comes from Iran's Revolutionary Guards, who officially declared the Strait of Hormuz closed, warning that any ship attempting to pass will face harsh measures. By the time we posted the news, 3 ships had already not passed through the strait and turned back. And what element do you think might be happy about all this situation? It's none other than oil, which has already reached $101 per barrel. And if the markets weren't closed over the weekend, the price would continue to rise. That's why many are going to hyperliquid where the market never closes. These were the top crypto news stories. Today, March 28th, 2026. Let me inform you that the content you watched is content created solely for educational purposes, and in no case constitutes investment advice, only investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave likes and a comment, which comments can be featured in the intro. Stay well everyone, have a good day.